Good morning. Sorry, I didn't realize it was recording yet. It is indeed first period. Hopefully no more bells will go off. And if I drink coffee while I'm reading, you gotta forgive me. It's the morning. Is that bright and distracting? Let me just... Does that make anything better? Oh, I guess it does. Yeah, wow. What a difference a shade makes. Too early. All right, chapter 4. That's where we are. The lines are drawn. That evening, Addy was studying her spelling words as Mama made supper. Mama sprinkled flour on the table and began rolling out a piece of dough. She was making biscuits to go with their supper of black-eyed peas. Addy gathered scraps of dough as Mama began cutting the biscuits. One word I've been wanting to learn to spell is family, Mama said to Addy. You know how to spell that word? I do, Addy answered. She started working the scraps of dough into thin strips and made an F and then an A. Mama, what do you think Esther's doing right now? Addy asked as she continued making the letters. I suspect she's getting ready to eat her supper too, Mama said. I miss her, Addy said, and Papa and Sam. She sighed deeply. Mama, when are we going to live together again like a real family? Mama sighed too. I can't say when we'll be together again, Addy, she said, but I don't want you thinking that we ain't a family because we ain't all in one place. We just as much a family as we was back in North Carolina. Addy finished spelling family with the dough pieces. F-A-M-I-L-Y. Mama read, family, that's us. That's us, Addy smiled softly. The next day in school, Miss Dunn talked about the war and about the progress the soldiers from the North were making. It appears that our Union troops are winning the war, she said proudly. So, I guess it was yesterday in these videos. I don't remember what chapter specifically, but we talked a little bit about the Civil War. The Union soldiers are up in the North, and the Confederate soldiers are down in the South. So the Southern states had Confederate troops. The Northern states had Union troops. Spoiler alert, the Union wins the war. The class cheered. Miss Dunn went on. Now it's important for the Union soldiers to know we support them. Harriet interrupted. My mother does volunteer nursing to help wounded black soldiers, she said importantly. She says many of the soldiers she sees are missing an arm or a leg. Some of the children groaned. I'm sure that's true, Miss Dunn said. This has been a very bloody war. The soldiers who make it back alive are lucky, even those who are missing limbs. Many soldiers are dying in battle. All the men who go off to fight for the North are our heroes. They need to know we care about them. That's why the whole school is going to the Baltimore Depot today to help send off a troop of black soldiers. An excited buzz went through the room. I wish I was old enough to fight, Billy Maples blurted out. Even if I lost a leg, I'd still be a hero. Sarah raised her hand. Miss Dunn, why there gotta be a war at all? She asked. Miss Dunn paused for a moment. Sometimes people fight even when they don't want to. They fight for what they believe is right, she said. I still wish there wasn't no war, Sarah said. Before Miss Dunn could respond to her, Harriet turned in her seat and said to Sarah, You know the war is going to free the slaves. You should be glad for the war. You were a slave yourself. Ooh, woof, Harriet. Harriet, that will be enough, Miss Dunn said. Almost all of us black people used to be slaves. Not me. My family has always been free, Harriet said proudly. Addy could see a tense look come over Miss Dunn's face. Ooh, Harriet, you're really... Girls and boys, almost all black people came to America as slaves, she said. If you weren't a slave, someone in your family probably was. One of the reasons there's a war now is because a line exists between black and white people. That line is slavery. Miss Dunn turned and faced Harriet. We don't need to do or say anything that draws more lines between people. So Harriet was drawing a line by saying, well, I've always been free, and you used to be a slave. And it's like she was dividing herself from everybody else. And the last thing we need now or ever is division. Unless it's in math and you have to solve a problem. Then sure, divide away. All right. The entire country has been divided in two. Let's not make differences based on who was a slave or wasn't, or anything else. Is that clear, class? Yes, Miss Dunn, came the answer from all students together. Harriet, Miss Dunn said sharply. Do I make myself clear? That's right, Miss Dunn. Call her on the carpet for her behavior. Yes, ma'am, Harriet mumbled, embarrassed. Good, said Miss Dunn. When we go to the depot, I want you all to be on your best behavior. Now line up with your desk partners. As the class left the building, Harriet put her arm around Addie's shoulders. So what did you decide? Harriet asked. Are you walking home with me and my friends today after school, or do you have to ask Sarah's permission? I don't have to ask her permission, Addie said quickly. I'm going to walk with you. Wow, that is some peer pressure. Man, Harriet is rubbing me the wrong way. It's too early for Harriet. Good, Harriet said. She sounded satisfied. By the time the students arrived at the railroad station, a crowd had gathered. The students lined up along the street with the other people to watch the soldiers march by straight and tall in their blue uniforms trimmed with brass buttons. Addie and her class cheered and applauded, but as Addie looked around, she saw that not everyone was cheering. Some women and children were crying as they watched the soldiers march off to war. When Addie saw one soldier who looked like her brother Sam, suddenly she felt like crying herself. Addie turned to Harriet and said, My brother wanted to fight in the war. Really? Replied Harriet. She didn't sound interested. My uncle is serving in the 3rd Infantry. That was the first black regiment organized in the state. Wow, Harriet's hoity-toity. Like, she seems to want to one-up people a lot. Like, well, your brother wanted to serve, my uncle actually served. Harriet's also, like, probably 9. So, you know, slow your rollness up. Oh, said Addie. She wished she knew as much about where Sam was as Harriet knew about her uncle. On the way back to school, the boys marched straight and tall, just as the soldiers had, and the class sang Rally Round the Flag. When school ended that day, Addie gathered her lunch pail and books and went to Sarah's desk. I'm going to walk with Harriet and her friends today, Addie said firmly. She asked me, You can come too if you want. No, I can't, Sarah said, her voice shaking. Addie could see that Sarah was hurt. She was trying to say something to Sarah when she heard Harriet call, Come on, Addie. Addie turned to see Harriet surrounded by her friends. She gestured for Addie to come. Go on, Sarah said bitterly. You know you want to. So here are the kids watching the soldiers. You can see they're in their uniforms. They're all black, which they were talking about this being a black regiment. So even here, the white soldiers would fight in their own groups, and the black soldiers would fight in their own groups. And that's part of the segregation that we talked about yesterday. Without looking at Sarah, Addie ran to join Harriet. Once she caught up with Harriet and her friends, she glanced back at Sarah, who was alone. Addie felt torn, but Harriet distracted her. How do you think you'll do in the spelling match on Friday? Harriet asked Addie. I hope I'm going to do all right, Addie replied. I've been studying real hard. Can you believe Miss Dunn gave us 75 words to learn? Asked Mavis, one of Harriet's friends. She was a tall girl with sandy brown hair. Harriet is going to win, another girl said. She doesn't even have to study. Addie looked back over her shoulder again for Sarah, but Sarah had disappeared. We've been going to my house after school to study for the spelling match, Harriet said. Maybe you can come with us sometime, Addie. Here. Harriet handed Addie her books. One by one, the other girls piled their books on top. These are kind of heavy, Addie said. Why I gotta carry them all? Well, if you want to be with us, you have to be our flunky, Harriet said. So here you can see they're making Addie carry their books for them. Would a friend do that? Would you be like, here, carry my stuff for me? No, friends help each other. So you might someone might help you carry all your stuff, like if you have a lot of stuff. But you don't take advantage of someone and make them carry all your stuff. What's that? Addie asked, struggling with the books. Harriet and her friends giggled. Oh, Addie, I can tell that you just got off the plantation, said Harriet. Wow, that's really rude. She cast a sly look at Mavis and then said to Addie, You have to be a flunky because you are the new girl. It's sort of like you have to pass a test to be friends with us. What kind of test? Addie asked. Oh, I can't tell you too much. That would be cheating, Harriet said. The girls all laughed again and Addie felt too embarrassed to ask more. She felt that the girls all had a secret that they weren't sharing with her. When the group reached Mrs. Ford's shop, the girls quickly took their books off Addie's pile. I'll see you all tomorrow, Addie called as they walked away. Bye, Harriet called, not bothering to look back at Addie. Inside the shop, Mama and Mrs. Ford were busily working. So I think this is what Sarah warned her about. She's like, oh, she'll make you do things for her. I need more coffee to deal with Harriet. Good afternoon, Mrs. Ford, Addie said. I know this is a place of business, but can I talk to Mama for a minute? Make it quick, Mrs. Ford said, never looking up from her work. Mama, can I go to Harriet's house to study for the spelling match? Addie asked. I told you about her before. She's my desk partner and she invited me. I suppose it'd be fine, Mama answered, but only if Sarah go with you. Addie suddenly felt sick to her stomach. Harriet would never include her if Sarah had to come along. Where is your friend? Mrs. Ford asked. Addie looked away. She didn't want to walk with me today, she said. That doesn't sound like Sarah, Mama said, surprised. It's true, Mama, Addie said quickly. Anyhow, I know my way around now. As Addie slowly climbed the long stairs to the garret, she tried to convince herself that what she had just told Mama was true. Sarah had not wanted to walk with her today. She also tried to figure out a way she could go to Harriet's without Sarah. Addie knew a line had been drawn between Sarah and Harriet, and neither one would cross it. I mean, I don't know which team you're on, but I'm on Team Sarah. I mean, given that I also am a Sarah. Sarahs are usually right. I'm just saying. Oh God, I probably sound like Harriet now. Ew, stop me. All right, so I will see you next video for chapter 5, the spelling match. Dun dun dun. I believe this is the last chapter, and then we'll take a peek into the past. And then we'll be done with this book, and we'll be on to the next one.